Welcome to the show. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. We have the beautiful Betty Van Velsen here, getting ready to present on the division in Israel Revisited. But let's say hello to Betty, if you'd like. Hello, Betty.
If you like. Hello. I like.
I'm just making stuff up. You know, when you start out a show, you're like, you get into the routine and, you know, it just happens naturally. But mainly you're just making stuff up on the fly.
I think you're doing a good job nowadays.
Really?
Yeah. And especially when you went solo, it was like just like me letting my child go into the water in the deep.
Is that what it's like for you?
It was sort of because I'm usually your sidekick and helping you along a little bit.
Sure.
And as small as my task is, but I just, and then you being solo, I thought, oh, is he going to do this on his own?
I'll buy me onesie?
Yeah, especially when you say it that way.
Yeah. What am I?
In those shows.
There's nothing really to do. Of course, there's no one to take over. You know, everyone needs a little bit of a break. Because you can't just continuously talk. Well, some people can, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm the antithesis of that. I'd rather shut up for when I say something. I want it to be substantive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. It depends on the situation and stuff, but for the most part, right? You want to say something substantive. You know, I don't like droning on. I don't like being inconcise, right? Because you just lose people. It's hard enough keeping their attention when you're concise, right? I get lost all the time listening to people. First two sentences, like earlier today, I was like, "That's a shout out to Adam."
That's a stab, man.
Yeah. But you're usually good with that. You don't ramble on about inconsequential nonsense for the most part.
I try to manage that because as a woman, usually we can ramble a lot.
Yes, on inconsequential nonsense, yes.
Yes, and we like that because that gives us ideas.
Oh, jeez.
And we have to have the ability to stab at one another without other people noticing.
Jesse Palmer out in chat. What in the world are you thinking, dude?
What's up?
He's whipping everyone the finger.
Oh.
I didn't show it.
Well, why not?
You want me to show it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, there. I'll show it to you. This is what he did.
This is what he did.
Yeah.
Where are you showing this?
And the chat in YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see. I have my phone next to me, so I see.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
I won't be able to watch it while I'm doing my presentation, though. But yeah.
Well, that's okay to you?
Well, he's just pushing the flat Earth.
All right, fair enough. If it's your show,
way, but okay.
It's your show. If you authorize it, then Jesse, you're good.
So we were talking about inconsequential things. This is one, I think.
Inconsequential, meaningless events and people that ramble on about them. Yes.
Yeah. So, do you like the ones that you do on your onesie because of the nonsense that other people write? Maybe.
I like it for the not impulsive, but the spontaneous nature of it. I like it that way. I don't have anything prepared, right? I know roughly what's going to go on, but I like the spontaneous nature of it.
On your onesie?
Yeah, buy me onesie, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now.
I told you years ago, do this, because I know that you are good at that sort of taking apart people's arguments and taking apart their fallacies and things on the fly also, it's not, it's something that comes natural to you instead of having to review it a couple of times before you can sort of say, okay, now this I see, and now I see this fallacy. You do that on the fly. It's like comes natural to you.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it. While other people still, we get caught by these fallacies because we already are into it, into the whole red herring or the straw man, and then we, after a while, we think, oh, we were sidetracked somewhere, and how do we
Yes.
get back to that
Yeah,
one?
that's that. I was talking about that the other night after in the after show when the show was over. I said, "You guys, you get led on. It's like the power of suggestion, and I don't know if the Globers do it intentionally, and some flat earthers do it intentionally. I don't know all about that, but what I do know is people just they like the little flashy thing, like the trout. And if there's something flashy, if somebody brings something up, they just chase that, and they miss the forest through the trees. that let me tell you something. If you want to drive me nuts, start doing that.
Yeah, but it makes also that you have a high standard for yourself as well, and other, you sort of build yourself a reputation where when you are starting to maybe ramble on a little bit or speculate on certain stuff, that you can't almost do that, right? You can't do that because people will call you out on it.
I don't usually speculate at all. I mean, even with
Exactly, but you do that on purpose too, I think.
yeah, it's very unnatural for me to speculate. Just even with me in my inner dialogue, that doesn't happen. Right?
Hmm.
It just doesn't. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I just don't have that capacity. Now, depending on a topic, if I'm watching a movie or something, and you have that suspension of disbelief, that's a different genre, right? I'm talking about the nature of our reality. When I'm in that mode, there is no speculation. I mean, it depends. When I'm listening to it, sometimes it's okay. Yeah, I don't get that fired up, but I'm keying on the whole thing, right? What is the presenter trying to do here, right? Because I can discern that. It's not like I'm looking for an intent or something. Listen, my spidey sense goes off. I'm putting a stop to it, quick.
Hmm.
It's just
I
the way.
wonder how you are then with certain movies and stuff, because you have these people that you're looking at a movie and then you're really into it, and then somebody says that can't happen, that car can't go that fast, or
Right.
look at this. This is where it went wrong because a plane there, and they forgot about this, and that
Yeah.
prop is not positioned right. And that's sort of a spoiler.
Yeah, I was
Involvement.
watching. Now, I was watching a movie yesterday. It was some really good. I like Point Break. I was watching that movie last night. Now I got it taped, and I decided to watch it again. I haven't watched it in like a month or so, but I just like the movie. There's just something about it I like. Opposing that, I was watching another one, not a movie, but a series, and it just doesn't flow. Right? There's too much. It's how do I say erratic plot. It starts to piss me off. I just turn it off. If it doesn't line up, it's like continuity errors. That's what it is. There's continuity errors or just purposeful non sequiturs. I'm like, where the hell did you ever come up with that? Whoever's writing this, are you on crack? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like being surprised either with plots. I'm not saying anything about that because there's some non sequiturs that fit right in. If you're following me, it's hard for me to describe it. I'd have to write one. Next time it happens, I'll write it down. I'll bring it up to you. How about that? Why are we talking about this?
Well, it's because it's interesting that people get to know you a little bit about this.
People don't want to know me. They got better things to do with their time, like friggin' in Dreamland Fantasy World. Right?
Well,
Most
I think
people.
that I don't know. I think people like to know a little bit where people come from, how they act and why they act that way, and that makes you um, more likable.
Really? Well, let me tell you something. Um,
Now we get there.
yeah, let me tell you something. You, not you, the general you out there listening, you ain't fooling anyone. Okay? I'm not fooling anyone. No one's fooling anyone. When you're alone with your thoughts, you are batshit insane. I know it. I know you are. So there ain't no
Oh,
plan, right? There ain't no plan. You're not hiding anything. You're not being coy. You're batshit insane, and I friggin' know it. So I just want to let you know.
what came this about? This is funny.
We better get with the
Does that include yourself as well?
uh how's the weather?
Okay, so yeah, well, you say Spidey sense, not Batman. So.
We could get into the presentation. I just want to let everyone know that I knew. Right? You're not hiding. You're not being clever or coy. You're not you don't have your cloaking device. You might think you have it engaged, but you're naked as a jaybird, and I see you. Just to let you know.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Let's get to the
Great
presentation. This is going to go down a dangerous lane, and I'm not going to give up all my secrets.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
Hold on a second. Let me pull you up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Pull it up, and I'll let you know when you're ready to go.
Yep, there it is.
Oh crap! It didn't come up. All right, now I got you now. I got you now. Hold on. You are live. Go.
I was only live, I think, and alive. Yeah, so this is the continuation of my my presentations on the Israel parts, and I got a disclaimer. I put that up every time because I don't want to pretend I'm a scholar at Bible stuff and know everything. I'm just on a journey, like many other people are when they pick up the Bible and read. And you get these little gems and little things here and there, and you put them together, and it makes up more and more. And you find out that the Bible has many layers, many interesting things that other people might not pick up. Um, and I might not pick up things that other people pick up. So I think that we can all, as a community of Christians, help each other and well, hold on to the good and throw out what's bad. I mean, for you, right? And bring it to the Lord. So here we go. That's a summary of the Israel presentation so far. That was the promises of Israel, peculiar people. That's all the verses where peculiar, the word peculiar was mentioned. The warning from God, and scatter and gather. That was the last presentation that I did. So here we have a verse of the peculiar people. For those art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth. So who are these peculiar people? That's my question, that's my quest. And where are those peculiar people now? So in the last presentations where I talked about the peculiar people, I had a sort of a summary made. In every sort of verse where peculiar is mentioned, I took out certain phrases, and it sort of makes out the characteristic of these peculiar people. So the ones that are keeping the covenant, whom God considers to be a holy nation, a kingdom of priests, whom the Lord God has chosen for himself. The Lord God did not set his love upon, nor chose, because they were more in number than any people, but were the fewest of all people, and who fear the Lord, and who keep the Lord's name in their thoughts, whom God will spare, as a man spares his own son that serves him, whom are sealed with spirit of promise, who can discern between righteous and wicked men, who are under the grace of God that brings salvation to all, who are redeemed by Jesus Christ from all iniquity and purified, and who are zealous of good works. And I put the verses next to it so that people, if they want to investigate them for themselves, they can go here and pause the video and go there to these verses. Very interesting, and there are verses from the Old Testament and also the New Testament. And there's one, that's the second line, where it's mentioned in the Old and the New Testament. It's basically a quotation of Peter in his letters. So again, in 1 Peter 2, verse 9, it says, But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praises of him that hath called you out of darkness into a marvelous light. Well, that sounds really, really good. Be in the light. Then, after that, I talked about being disobedient to God and the plagues and the warning from God. And it's in Leviticus chapter 26. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if you shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgment, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my commandments, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ache that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set out my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies, that they hate you and shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. And if ye will not yet from all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. So 7 is important thing to remember here. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. And if you walk contrary unto me, I will not hearken unto me. I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. And I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number. And your highways shall be desolate. And if you will not be reformed by me by these things, and will work contrary unto me, and then I think he says again that it will be 7 times more things on us. So we need to be careful, right? I will chastise you 7 times more for your sins. So 7, fiery 7. So that's usually why people sort of reject the God of the Old Testament, because he's so fierce in his words, so harsh, right? But I think there's an end to his means. How do you say that? Means to an end.
Now I think there's you could say it either way. I think it has more meat if you say ends to the means, but that's just me.
Yeah, but I started with that one. Huh? Ends.
Yeah, but you didn't do it purpose. Yeah, but you didn't do it purposely, so you
I
lost.
didn't.
Yeah, everyone sensed that, so you lost it. You were just confused.
Too funny. Yeah. Well, still, it might be intuitive that I did that. Huh?
Too
But yeah,
funny.
7 times is a good. 7 is really. If you look up all 7s in the Bible, that would make a really nice.
You're not gonna be able to make it. You just look up all the 7s. Sorry to interrupt. Just try to find all the 7s in Revelation. You won't be able to do it. There's too many. You're gonna miss some. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's for a reason also, because he already told us in the Old Testament. So, and then I started this was the last presentation I did with the scatter and gather of Israel. And it was in Deuteronomy 28, and it says here, and ye shall be left few in number. So he sort of prophesied over that. whereas whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. And it shall come to pass that the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you. So the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from the land, from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. I would say heaven, but that was not the line that was said. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So in Deuteronomy, Moses, that wrote up this book, and also he led the Israelites out of Egypt. He already prophesied over that it would happen. Right? Basically, it was no surprise that it would happen if you read the Bible in hindsight, right? Because we are on the other side of history in this sense. So in this chapter, God gives a list of curses and plagues that will happen when Israel doesn't keep commandments. And I went over these curses and plagues in the previous presentation. So if you want to review that, then everything will be revealed in that presentation. Also spoke about Ezekiel 37. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it, for Judah and for the children of Israel his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it, for Joseph the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not shew us what thou meanest by these? So this is basically a prophecy that Ezekiel had to basically perform in front of his people that he spoke to at this time, to just sort of visualize it. These two sticks, place them together. So join them one another, one stick. Right? It's really interesting to see how that goes about. So in Isaiah chapter 11, they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. And in that day shall there be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, to which shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah, and from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. We talked about that in the last episode, in the last presentation, didn't
Yep,
we?
I didn't get a chance during the week to use vexed, and I was sorely vexed over the past week, but I'm writing it down. Thanks. Continue.
Yeah, isn't it funny that he also uses outcasts for Israel and dispersed for Judah, right? So he's basically saying outcast because Israel, the 10 tribes, were idolatrous, right? He gave them a bill of divorce, so they were outcast. They were like thrown off, right? And dispersed was basically some enemy came among them and dissipated them, like they fled every which way, right? So
Yeah, but remember, the Israel up north. We're talking about north and south. So remember some of the families that they intermingled. That means a lot of them that from the north that wanted to observed God went south and the other ones went north. So there was no like name boundaries and stuff. You following me?
I do, but still, God gave us specific instructions. I spoke about that in earlier presentations where I said, okay, that happened, right? I'm not denying that that happened.
Right.
But when you go to inheritance, so when the Israelites of other tribes would intermarry, there was a certain rules
Yep.
that would apply. And so when a woman would
Yep.
marry a man of another tribe, that tribe's name is leading, right?
Yeah.
And also after a couple of years, like the Jubilee years, all the land or whatever, all the inheritance would fall back to the original inheritance of genealogy.
Yeah. I
Right?
I understand that, but you're going down a road. I didn't put that road out there for you. I didn't say that the people from up north came down to marry other people there. I'm saying that the people that wanted to worship God went south.
Yeah,
Right? Not
yeah, I got you.
follow?
But also the other way around.
That's
But we
true.
will get to that later.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
I understand.
Okay.
Yes, and I will get to that specific thing more into what the Bible says too. You know, so if you have a plot of land in Judea, for example, and you were one of the northern tribes, you would just buy it of them to maybe exploit that plot of field, right? But every so much years, that plot of land would basically fall back to, or that guy would die, whatever, it will fall back to someone of Judah, for example, right? If it's on the plot of land in Judah. So other people would never, how do you say, usurp any other land rights. That's basically Bible laws, right?
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, I will explain that later. It will come up maybe later. So I just want to stress this verse again because last time I asked you also about you said the vexing of, right? I said okay, so you might understand this or this portion, right? But Ephraim, right? We need to know where that is, right? Because if Ephraim was one of the lost tribes, where is it? Because God still knows where it is, where Ephraim is, and this is a thing. We need to explore this. God doesn't put things in there in vain. And last time we also spoke about the Caiaphas prophecy. It's in John 11. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it's expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that was scattered abroad. So he says that while he is already in a he came back. The Jews came back from the exile, right? They come back and build up the second temple, and this is basically Caiaphas already thinking, okay, it's reunited, but still there are others that are scattered abroad. So he knew that there were more of these Israelites that were scattered abroad. So he knew that there were more than just were in that land at that time. And also, it's interesting that he says, well, the man should die for his people. Um, I wonder if he really was conscious of it that he said that. But this is really interesting how the Bible works, right? Some people would say something, and that might later come true in a way that they wouldn't even know it. I mean, yeah, it sort of mesmerizes me. So we go to a couple of topics today. Division in Israel, House of Judah, and two houses, two paths. So who is Israel? So definitions are very important, especially in the Bible. At least it's for me. We need to know who we are talking about specifically. This is why we first need to focus on the name Israel. Where did the name come from, and when and how was it used? I've made a presentation. It's called QE Live Division in Israel. It's good to go and review this before you move on with this presentation, because I already made sort of a preview on this. And it's sort of what I'm now doing is basically revisiting a couple of things and move on a little bit more in depth. So Kingdom Israel divided. So the divide. And this is one of the slides that I had in the Vision of Israel presentation. I'm not worthy of the least of all mercies and of all the truth which thou shewest unto thy servants, for with me, with my staff, I passed over this Jordan, and now I've become two bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and smite me, and the mother with the children. And thou sayest, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered in multitude. So in the division of Israel, I started as a type in Genesis 32. Jacob returns to his homeland after serving his father-in-law for 20 years. So he marries two daughters, and we read in Genesis the verse 7 and 8. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people and that was with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels, into two bands. And he said, if Esau come to one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. So Jacob wanted to protect his most precious wife and son, because Joseph and his mother Rachel were in the last portion of the caravan that would go to their own home again, back home basically, to the Canaan country. And later on we see that he had to lose almost his son Joseph for the better, of course, but he didn't know that right then. So Jacob wrestles with God, and his name is getting changed into Israel in Genesis 32. Thy name shall not be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince thou hast power with God and with man, and hast prevailed. His most beloved son is betrayed by his brothers and is enslaved in Egypt, and he loses him for a long time until they are reunited again. So why? Right? And God has foreseen this all along. Joseph was made co-ruler at that time with the Pharaoh, co-heir typology, and he would reunite the whole of Israel. So this is important to see, because the Bible basically tells us what's later going to happen. Another foreshadow of the division in Israel is Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal. And you see that here. Deuteronomy 11. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day. And a curse if you will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which you have not known. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord thy God hath brought thee in unto thy land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, and put the curse upon Mount Ebal. Okay, so now you have to know that the situation on this is really Mount Gerizim, Mount Ebal, and this one is in the north of Israel, and this one is in the south of Israel. So basically, when they are standing on this one, they are proclaiming to the north, and when they hear, they proclaiming to the south. This is the way the Shechem. It's also a very important place where many things happened. So here we're set basically on at this time where the condition set the blessings and the curses. Very important. So Northern Kingdom, Israel, Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, here. So basically these are is already the division that God sort of foresaw. So we have here also a slide from my previous presentation. I'll bring it up. And you can see here, this is a little map of Israel. Here's the Dead Sea, Jerusalem, and then you see here Mount Ebal at the north and Mount Gerizim at the south. So these mountains are basically pointing that way. So if you didn't see my presentation, I also have another slide, spiritual division, and also with the names. I'm very into what names mean, because names mean identity, and they give sometimes messages. Especially in the Bible, they give messages. So we see the names of the 12 patriarchs. Mount Ebal. You can see these people, groups of people were on the north side, and this one on the south, and they were shouting and one to one another, one a curse and one a blessing. So on Mount Ebal, a curse was proclaimed, but these names make up like a story. So surely Yahweh has looked upon my afflictions. How fortunate, happy am I. God has endowed me with a good gift. My husband will dwell with me. God has judged me. With great wrestlings I have wrestled and prevailed. And on Mount Gerizim it says, because Yahweh has heard that I was hated, he therefore given me this son. Now this time will my husband be joined to me. Now I will praise Yahweh. God has given me my wages. Yahweh shall add to me the son of his right hand, and thou shalt have this son also. So this is basically a dual thing, because Benjamin means son of the right hand. So, and this is the last bit in brackets is something that the mother of no the handmaid of Rachel said when she gave birth to Benjamin. But we have these two stories, and they are sort of similar, but also very much distinct. So you might say two paths, right? Here it's God has endowed me with a good gift. My husband will dwell with me, and here's now this time will my husband will be joined with me. So this is a later time that husband will be joined. And also here, God has given me my wages. So there's basically something was deserved at the end. And here, God has judged me. So there's another path. These are two different paths that God sort of provided for his two bands that he basically made. So hope for Israel. So in Deuteronomy 30, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God has driven thee. And shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Then then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God has scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out of the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. The Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and all thy soul, that thou may live. So this is a very important verse also for Christians, because we have to basically love God with all our heart and all our mind and all our soul. And that's basically the first commandment. So the kingdom given to the servant. So when 1 Kings 11, verse 4, for it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away from his heart after other gods. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, and as was the heart of David his father. And in 1 Kings 11, verse 9 to 10, and the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord of Israel, Lord God is of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord had commanded. In Kings 11:11, wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, forasmuch as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and I will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to thy son for David's my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. So we have here implication. The kingdom Israel, I will rend the kingdom, is given to the servant. Servant was Jeroboam. So the kingdom of Israel is being given to Jeroboam. So Solomon's son Rehoboam is only given one tribe, Benjamin. So it's in 1 Kings 11:36, and unto his son I will give one tribe. But I have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have which I've chosen for me to put my name there. Very important. So North Kingdom of Israel. So who is Israel? This portion, that's Israel. This is the house of Judah. So in the new covenant, in Jeremiah, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. But this shall be a covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So the new covenant is with the house of Israel. Okay, so here you can see that the house of Israel is basically used as a distinction from the house of Judah. So basically these are the two sticks that I previously talked about for them to be combined. And then you can see that he will make a covenant, and he will make that with the house of Israel, which means that Judah basically will also be absorbed in the whole house of Israel, and it will be two sticks joined together. But it will be Israel. But if the house of Judah still remained and the house of Israel disappeared, basically was lost, taken away in exile, how can in Jeremiah the Lord still keep talking about that he will make a covenant with the whole house of Israel? Right? Because these people would be mingling with all the people in the nations around them. So where are these? Well, 1 Kings 11:38 to 40. And it shall be, if thou, and that's Jeroboam, wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and wilt walk in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, I will be with thee and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. What does he mean by this? Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt, unto Shislach king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. So basically, after this, it became a divided country. So the name, the identity Israel is given to Jeroboam. Yes, he went after idols, which was already basically what was God's idea, because he knew that they would do it. Right? He had sort of foreseen this. But still, the name Israel follows these group of people, as they mentioned often as the house of Israel or as the house of Ephraim. Jeroboam was an Ephraimite, so was Joshua, by the way. And then I would say, okay, remember another presentation that I did about the blessing being given to Ephraim, right? And basically because Joshua would bring them into the promised land, and Jeroboam basically got them out of it again, right? But I'm thinking that Ephraim has a big important place to play still. So basically says a lot of times that the house of Ephraim is his firstborn in scripture. So again, Jeroboam, king of Israel, again, who is Israel? It's these upper 10 tribes. Okay, but where are they? No. And then we go to the two paths. We come back to Gerizim, Mount Ebal, northern part, southern part. So the kingdom of Israel under Jeroboam contained 10 tribes other than Judah and Benjamin, also called northern Israel. In the south, under King Rehoboam, we see the house of Judah, also called the southern Israel. So this prophecy has come to fruition, basically. Right? You got the two up, and so one got the blessing, one got the curses, but they are shouting at each other. So that's very interesting to get into that. Who is shouting what to who in the end? Is it the ones that's shouting the curses that get the curses, or the other way around? I mean, that's interesting. Then we go to Jeremiah 3, verse 12 to 14, and proclaim these words towards the north, and say, Return, thou backsliding Israel. So Jeremiah knew where they were. Saith the Lord, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you, for I am merciful, saith the Lord, and I will not keep my anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. So Jeremiah, he was basically from the house of Judah, in exile or transported eventually to Babylon, and that was after Israel was already taken away. So proclaim these words to the north. I wonder if they ever got that message in the north, these Israelites, because these were taken away by the Assyrians. So where are the Israelites now? So Lord, kind of like this feature, by the way. So Rehoboam did not listen to the elders, causes the 12 tribes of Israel to divide. So first we have all these tribes situated here, amongst here. This was not the kingdom of Moab and Ammon. This was Manasseh and Gad and Reuben. So in 1 Kings 12, Verse 4. Thy father made our yokes grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke with he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. So this is Israel, the northern portion, and someone from uh, Samaria, or the capital Samaria of Ephraim. Say, hey, make it lighter on us. And now, whereas my father did lay you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father has chastised you with whips, and I will chastise you with scorpions. So here you see basically that portion where uh, Judah will vex Israel or Ephraim, right? You can see it here, right? You will vex, and it's later on continued. We hear these two lands, these two separate kingdoms. Like I said here, Judah will not vex Ephraim, but they did then. So there will be a time when this will not happen again, and that's interesting to know when that when that happened. I mean, when Ephraim was taken away, was it then, or maybe even later? It continues, you know, because it says that it continues because first these two have to be put together again. So here we have in 1 Kings 12, and when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin and 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. But the word of God came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, so here's that other people that came to this portion, the house of Judah. Thus saith the Lord, Ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Lord, and returned to depart according to the word of the Lord. So this thing is from me. So God must have a plan with this division. If he didn't have a plan, why would he first say that everybody will come back together again? And he basically sort of foresaw that there would be a division, and he basically causes, or sort of says, okay, I condone this thing to happen. Right? It's almost like he's making these two bands, like Jacob made these two bands, to divert a sort of universal enemy, right? To basically make two paths for a reason. And yes, of course, Rehoboam did do wrong and went after idolatry, but that was basically, yeah, his own choice. Everybody has a choice in life, and we do wrong things, and we have to repent and come back. And I think also God that foresaw that was going to happen. So Rehoboam, king of Judah, that's the house of Judah. And later that portion of land is called Judea. It's not called Israel. It's called Judea. It's for a reason. So why did the house of Benjamin join Judah? Well, that's an interesting thing to see and to look into. So we see here a picture of a man holding a cup and bring it to the king. So what about Benjamin? So Benjamin is situated here. This is Ephraim, Judah, all these land plots that were basically assigned by Joshua when they came into the Holy Land. So this is an important place because Benjamin is given Jerusalem, we will later see. So when Benjamin was born, In Genesis 35 it says, "And it came to pass, as her soul was departing," Rachel, for she died, "that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. And Rachel died and was buried in the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem." Also very interesting. So here we see that Bethlehem is in Judah, and here is basically before that is where Rachel died. And interesting is that this is the place where Mary gave birth also to Jesus. So we see here Benoni means son of my sorrow, and Benjamin means son of the right hand. So there's a distinction. So there's a duality basically in Benjamin, where it can mean sometimes Benoni in the sense of son of my sorrow, because Benjamin, the tribe of Benjamin, did do a couple of things that weren't right. You also know Saul, the King Saul, which started out good but went bad. Right? We know about Paul, the Apostle Paul, was also Benjaminite, and he was murdering Christians, and they became good. So we know there's a duality in Benjamin. So Benjamin, the cupbearer, we saw that in that picture. In Genesis 44, "And he, Joseph, commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money." And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. Okay, so we got a cupbearer here, Benjamin the cupbearer. Willing or not willing. So in Genesis 44, is not this it in which my Lord drinketh? Joseph that says it, and whereby indeed he divineth. Ye have done evil in so doing. And he, the servant of Joseph, overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. Because this is something that he said that the servant of Joseph should tell the people, the other brothers of him. And they, the brothers, said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sack's mouth we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? Continues, With whomever thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also be by my Lord's bondmen. And he, the servant of Joseph, said, Now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. And they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man's his sack. And he searched and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. So here we see that the brothers are saying, okay, because they're sort of confident that they didn't take any silver or gold or anything with them. They said, okay, they could easily say, okay, well, let the guy die that did this, and the rest that didn't do it, we will be the Lord's bondmen, basically slaves to Joseph. And here it says, basically, well, let it be according to the words, but he sort of makes it a little bit less, right? He says, okay, the one that the cup will be found will be my servant, and you all other will be blameless. This is very important. It's a very important thing. We'll add to that later. So here we have prophecy alert. This alludes to Benjamin, Jesus, to die for the sins and all of Israel being bondmen. Right? So basically, he will die so that they are either bondmen or what the servant of Joseph is sort of saying, okay, he shall be the servant and you shall be blameless because of him being the servant. So it's all in here what Jesus is going to do. So here again, the servant of Joseph saying, Benjamin will be my servant, like Jesus was. By Jesus being a servant, the brothers will be blameless eventually. So Judah will protect Benjamin. What did Judah do? So Genesis 43 says, And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him, of my hands shalt thou require him, and if I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. So basically what Judah is doing before they went into Egypt to Joseph, he says, okay, we have to have corn, because there's a famine in the land. He says to his father Jacob, I said, okay, I'm going to cover for Benjamin. I will stand in for him, and I will bear the blame forever if anything happens to him. So this is also an add-on for the role basically that Judah gets in the house of Judah for his path of that particular divide. Now Judah promises to take personal responsibility for Benjamin's safety. More than that, he offers himself as a pledge of safety. This language indicates a serious commitment. This is not a casual promise. So Judah is literally offering his life, his own life, in exchange for Benjamin, if he fails to bring the boy back to Jacob alive and well. So it's unclear what the exact consequence would be, but he would accept the blame forever. Well, we know, we sort of can ascertain now what the consequence is, I would say. So we go again, and Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that ye have done? Wot ye not such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? How shall we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we, and he also with whom the cup is found. So Judah basically acknowledged that there is sin in them, and that they are the Lord's servants. So in Genesis, and Judah said, What shall we do unto the Lord? Yeah, so we know that's what I already read. And he, Joseph, said, God forbid that I should do so, but the man in whose hand the cup is found shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace and go unto your father. And Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant. For thou art even as a Pharaoh. So he basically acknowledges that he is a high authority. Joseph is. For thy servant, Judah, became a surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore, I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad a bondman to the Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. So again, he sort of again acknowledges that he will be taking covering for his brother. Which is funny because he didn't do that for Joseph himself before. So Judah's prophecy, and basically shadow. For thy Lord, thy servant Judah came surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant Judah abide instead of the lad a bondman to the Lord, to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad not be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father. So he see again that he wants to take the blame. He chose this path basically to to bear the blame if he didn't bring back Benjamin. So you can see here, this is the portion where also land-wise he takes care of Benjamin. So Judah and Benjamin, therefore, also in the land will sort of be together. Yeah, a foreshadow of Judah protecting Benjamin here. So the big prophecy alert basically is, did Judah, and then I mean the royal Judah in the sense of his legacy Judah, the house of Judah, bring Benjamin, type for Jesus, bring Benjamin back to his father? Or did he let him die? So if Benjamin is the type for Jesus, did the royal house of Judah bring him back to his father, which is God? Jesus is the Son of God. Or did they let him die? So how I see is a sort of a double whammy here, that Judah brought upon his future generation. Right? He said he basically put something on them. He said, well, basically we will bear the blame forever. And so one, yes, they, the Jews, brought Jesus back to his father, spiritually speaking, because they basically brought him to the cross. And yes, the Jews accused Jesus of sins that he didn't commit. Like Benjamin was like not really guilty of stealing the cup, and didn't commit and wanted him dead. So here in this case, the Jews basically failed from a spiritual standpoint, and they, the Jews, are now to blame. Right? They are to blame because they put Jesus on the cross. But this was foreseen, as prophesied here. It's basically already in that whole chapter of Genesis 44. I would recommend people basically reading it and try to read it more and more and take this to the Lord and see what's happening here, and that it's basically a foreshadow of what Jesus did as Benjamin, a son of the right hand. So this is basically a bad thing, because if this happens and they brought him to the cross and basically caused him to die for a sin that he didn't commit, they are to blame, right? So that's something that's not good. But there is also another thing that they could do, and that is that they accept that Jesus is the servant, that he's died for their sins, and that they now are free to go, right? That they are now to go where they want, because they are now, he did take the punishment, and the Jews don't need the punishment. So now they have safely brought Jesus home to his father, spiritually speaking. So they did anyway, but they also acknowledge that he is now the Son of God and the King of Kings. So it's very intricate. I hope that I did a good job on explaining this, but it's very interesting to review for yourself and see if you can find the same things that I found here. So to see why Benjamin also was with Judah and Joshua, and Jordan was the border of it, and on the east side, and this was the inheritance of the children of Benjamin by the coast thereof and round about, according to their families. So here we got a whole slew of names of lots of land and cities. And then here the most important thing is that they got the city of Jebusi, which is Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is basically the inheritance of the children of Benjamin. And when you later go on to read in Revelation, where sort of a picture is given of how the New Jerusalem is built, you will see that the foundation of the New Jerusalem is Benjamin. And it's multiple things of Benjamin. The foundation is Benjamin, and it's it makes sense in a sense of, because that's the inheritance of the Benjaminites. And then another prophecy of Moses. He prophesied over Benjamin. He prophesied over every tribe, but also over Benjamin. And in Deuteronomy 33 it says, "And of Benjamin he said, the beloved of the Lord shall dwell safely by him, and the Lord shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders." So if you look at that, you see that Judah, he got the scepter. Basically, he's the one that will always be king over Israel, in a sense. And Ephraim being the firstborn, that's what he calls his firstborn, and then Judah, or Benjamin being right in the middle. So it's basically, these are the two shoulders where Benjamin is lifted up. Very interesting. You can see that here. So here we have a little scripture in Ezra where it says specifically who came back from the exile, or the dispersion of the exile, I should say, to Babylon. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, which all them whose spirit of God had raised, to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. So you can see that only the two tribes and the priests of Levi that were among the ones that were taken to Babylon came back. Doesn't speak of other tribes. So we have Jerusalem, 1 Kings 11. "Howbeit I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hands, Rehoboam's hands, but I will make him prince of all days of his life, for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, Rehoboam, and I will give it unto thee, Jeroboam, even 10 tribes. And unto his son Rehoboam I will give 1 tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me, in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there." So a light in Jerusalem. And here also it says, "You are the light of the world," in Matthew 5:14. So it's very important. So distinctions between the two houses, two paths. So we talked about the house of Judah. So I wanted to stress again, maybe make it sort of visual again. So here we have, for example, America, and this is Texas and Florida. And suppose that Florida and Texas would just secede, is that the word, secede? And go together, and
Yes, that's what we're hoping for. Not Texas. not Texas. Florida.
Florida, okay. I thought California maybe too, but
Not parts
so
of
we have the state of what?
parts of California.
Parts, okay. So you have, for example, the state of Texas and Florida. Suppose that they would secede.
It's secede, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you have basically then the state of Texas. Right? So if every one of these states would be a tribe, for example, you take Florida and you take Texas, you would call it the state of Texas, right? For being one tribe basically added to Texas, but then the rest, right, is still the United States, but also the whole is still the United States, you know. So they go on as the state of Texas, and the rest is still the United States. So we got here, suppose that they would go back, rejoin, like the two sticks. And then you got the reunited states of America, right? So that's basically how you have to see the whole division in Israel, right? It's just to make it visual. And now apply it to Israel, right? We have this as Israel, the whole of it. That's the red line, the whole house of Israel. Then we got the blue line, and the blue line is Judah and Benjamin, now the house of Judah. And then you see that the kingdom of Israel was given the 12 tribes, or the 10 tribes, mistake here, and not the whole kingdom. But now it's called the house of Judah. So they go on as the house of Judah, and it's called Judea, right? It's aka the land of Judea, with one tribe, Benjamin. But it's not mentioned separately anymore. It's like sort of integrated. So here we go. Just to stress that this is the house of Judah now that goes on its own path, while Israel is also on its own path. So how does that look with the tribes? Right? So we have here Jacob Israel with his 4 wives, or wives, or at least partners. Right? So we see here all the sons of Israel from daughter Leah, also the daughter here. Gad and Naphtali from Silpah. Joseph and Benjamin from Rachel. And then Dan and Asher. And then we got Judah, that's taken out. Benjamin. And they form the house of Judah. And then Joseph gets 2 sons, and then we got Ephraim. And Ephraim forms with the rest, that's all here, all the offspring here, form the house of Israel. So that's the majority of them, right? This is just a small portion. So it's important to note that the distinction between the peoples of the 2 nations, Israel and Judah, while all of the house of Judah are Israelites, because they are the descendants of Jacob, Israel, not all Israelites are of the house of Judah. So the house of Judah consists of 1 tribe, Benjamin and Judah, also some of the tribe of the Levites who lived in that area, and some of the Simeonites. So the territory of the Simeonites was largely absorbed by the tribe of Judah, and the Simeonites were scattered among all the other tribes. So here we got the map again, and then you can see that the plot of land that Simeon got was within Judah. So Judah was like around it. Simeon and Judah were companions when they conquered this portion of land. So that makes sense. So the house of Israel has all the tribes of Israel in them, except the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. There we go. And then in Genesis 49, we read, Simeon and Levi are brethren, instrument of cruelty are in their habitation. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honor be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and then in their self-will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and will scatter them in Israel. So this is a prophecy that's now fulfilled, right? So Levi, he got the priesthood, but he is also scattered because, or divided, at least in all these tribes, because the Levites didn't get a plot of land. They were like getting cities assigned where they would do how do you say that? Ministries for God, basically, among the people. And Simeon, that's a different game, because that was really a cruel tribe in the beginning, as a person too, as patriarch, and he was scattered among all the other tribes, basically, and the whole tribe of Judah sort of absorbed them. And also a couple of these Simeonites went to live in Mount Seir, which is basically Edom country. which is not very good, I think. So 2 houses to pass. According to the prophets, the 2 houses would be reunited. So in Hosea, basically also a prophecy, right? The word of the Lord came to Hosea, the son of Beeri, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, the kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. Beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea, and the Lord said to Hosea, Go take thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land has committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord. He went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. And the Lord said unto him, Call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and I will cause him to seize the kingdom of the house of Israel. So we see here that he sort of foresaw that the house of Israel would go after whoredoms, or like idolatry, going after other gods, and that's not a good thing. So we see in the names, which is really interesting. You will see that in more presentations. I will not go over all the names every time, but this time it makes out a little bit of a story. So Hosea, my savior, my well expounder, power of the Lord, Yah is perfect. Yah has grasped or possessor. Yah strengthened. Let him be praised, whose people are countless. Yah is grasped, for a prince has power with God, and with man has prevailed. Completion. 2 thick cakes. God sows, Yah is he. So basically, here you see that there's a division made, and this is a thing also from God. Yes, sort of foreseen this. So this story goes on in the next verses, and it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. And she conceived again and bare a daughter, and God said unto him, Call her name Lurama, and I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. And I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and I will save them by the Lord, says the Lord their God. And I will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. Now when she had weaned Lurama, she conceived and bare a son. And then God said, Call his name Loami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. So here you see basically the story also of Israel, right? That he will not have mercy on Israel, and he will sort of let them go in exile. But what is interesting is also the names here: Jezreel, God sows; Luhama means no mercy, and Luami means not my people. But this is a thought. So this sentence here: I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and I will save them by the Lord their God. But I will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, by horsemen. But what did they do afterwards? The house of Judah did a lot of battle eventually, and they didn't have faith, right? So the only way that the people of the house of Judah, also in future generations, will get saved is by faith alone, not by force, not by battle. So if you apply this on the state of Israel, it's not looking good for them. It's not by faith that they got that land, I think, because they had to battle and basically push people away, and it's not honesty. So the 2 houses reunite. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living God. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, and appoint themselves one head, and shall come up out of the land For great shall be the day of Jezreel. So two things are really important. He just told us that he didn't believe in Israel again. So Israel was like, he would have no mercy on them. But still they will be getting as the sand of the sea. So why don't we know where the children of Israel are if they will be like the sand of the sea? Where are they then? Right? They cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the day where it said, "Ye are not my people," then they are the sons of the living God. Is that only this? If that is only the state of Israel, I don't think so, to be honest, because we have a multitude more people that are outside of Israel, the state of Israel, the land of Israel. So there's still someday that this will be done. And also, if you look at the state of Israel, all these Jews living there, they will appoint themselves one head. Well, the people in that are now looking for a Messiah are looking for two different people, right? We're looking for our Jesus to come back, and they are looking for another Messiah that will give them a kingdom on earth, right? Which is not the case. They might try to do that, but it will be the Antichrist, in my opinion. So this is for me God's plan revealed in this, right? And the name is for 3:7. Sorry, it says, "Surely the Lord God, will do nothing, but He revealeth His secret unto His servants, the prophets." So He said it here already. They will appoint themselves one head. So if that is not the case, then He didn't gather them together, because there will be like multitudes and sand of the sea. So more than the sand of the sea. So not there yet. So two houses, two paths. The path of the house of Judah and the path of the house of Israel. So first, Judah. God gave the tribe of Benjamin to Judah to be a light. Benjamin will play a major role in the future, and even a spiritual role, but also a physical role. That's how God works. He makes it in the physical, but also in the spiritual. And from the genealogy of Judah, the Messiah Jesus Christ will be born, not as an illegitimate son. The house of Judah is not divorced or never divorced God. So he is now, that's also a path that should be taken, that he was born into a legitimate way so that he could be getting the inheritance. So the hidden prophecy of the cupbearer and Judah's vow to cover Benjamin, the son of his right hand. So that's the hidden prophecy, what I just spoke about. Jesus being that cupbearer to die for the sins committed by all the tribes, by the way, all of them. But Judah taking the blame. Well, if they don't see that Jesus was that servant to comfort them, then they are to blame, basically. So God kept his promise to Judah and David to have the scepter and rule over Israel. So, and I'll also show that in a future presentation. So God will rejoin Judah with Israel through the cross and the new covenant made in Jerusalem. So they can come back in with the whole house of Israel, but they have to do it by faith, and the faith is see that Benjamin, the son of the right hand, which is Jesus, and being the cupbearer, basically, the Holy Grail, and bringing him back to the Father, right? So Jesus will bring the cup to the Father, right? With his blood, basically. So this is the path of the house of Israel. So the kingdom and the name of Israel is given to Jeroboam, 10 tribes. Jeroboam flees to Egypt. Apology, basically, Egypt. Israel will flee to Egypt. Egypt is a type for the world, the heathen nations. Jeroboam breaks the law through idolatry, setting up 2 golden calves in Bethel, a religious one, and in Dan, the laws of men or government. Israel will live in idolatry. Basically, these 2 calves represent something. Dan means judge, judgment. Bethel means the house of God, right? It's the place where Jacob put his head on, where he saw the stairwell to God. So that is the path to God. religious point, and this is a government, a law point. So these two golden calves are basically idolatry where they went wrong, right? So Israel is divorced from God and loses its inheritance and its identity, not as people, right? They don't know anymore that and themselves who they are. They are not as people, but will be, right? But are now outcasts. Remember the outcasts of Israel and the dispersed of the house of Judah. So these are the outcasts. But God will gather and remarry Israel. So how does he do that? By the cross, by the two sticks, and brings these two people together. Okay, again. And yeah, you have the olive tree with the branches, and basically the root is the root of Jesse, which is basically the father of, uh, or sort of a, how do you say that, the father of David, which is sort of representative of also Jesus' root. Right? So this is Jesus, and then you got the branches. Basically, you can see that this large part, you would say that this is Israel, and Judah being also be grafted back in as the original two. So everything will be one tree again. So that's my presentation for today.
Thanks, Betty. Any final
We will have a
words?
little bit of time. Oh, 2 minutes over.
Any final words?
Any final words?
Yeah, because we're gonna roll on out of here.
Yep. Well, I hope that people will explore, especially the whole, because many people don't understand the whole bit about what happened with Joseph, why he did what he did. With putting that cup in Benjamin's sack
Yep.
and all that stuff.
Yep.
It's all very emotional stuff, and we all sort of like thinking, "Ugh, what does he mean by this?" But if you look into the deeper meaning of it, and you sort of superimpose it to future things, that Benjamin is a cupbearer. Also later on, I think either Nehemiah or Ezra is also saying, it's Nehemiah, also says that he is a cupbearer, which means that he's a Benjaminite too, right? And he's a cupbearer. Basically, he brings something back, right? He will sort of bring things together. So very interesting, deep layered. So God works in secular. In his prophecies, he usually says it beforehand, before he's going to do it, and later it will be in the outcome. Right? So look at those layers, dig deeper, and ask the Lord if there's any things he wants to convey to you. Ask for wisdom in this, and you will get it.
You know what's really great about, and I know I don't know if you know it, but you probably do. Doing all this research, even though you're wrong, you get a lot of good information. I mean, you're chock full of great information. You know what I'm saying? It's just a byproduct of doing these presentations, right? You just have you're so knowledgeable, right? It's just it's a I don't want to say a fringe benefit. Sometimes people don't realize it once they do heavy research like that. That I just want to just by the way you're talking, right? It's like you get, number one, you got a passion for it. Number two, you just gain so much knowledge unawares that you just have, right by the hip.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the whole Bible is so compact. Everything is like succinct, compact, multi-layered. You can sort of diagonally go through the Bible. You can go by names. You can go by cities, names, and that sort of stuff. You can go by genealogy. You can go by law. You can go by things of love. You can go by warnings, by symbolism. There's so many depth in it. But if I have to explain it, or as far as I already know, it will take volumes, right? Because not. I think the Bible has been written about the most of any other book, review-wise. And if you have to make a summary of the Bible, I think that you would find that many people would make different summaries. That's for one, and it will never ever cover what's in it.
It's an unimaginable love story.
That's at least some summary, but
Yeah.
there's also warnings, and there's also
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's hard to
promises.
it's hard to encapsulate everything, but if I had to summarize it, it would be that.
Yeah, love basically. Yeah, but then again, God is love, right?
Yep. All right. All right.
Right.
So, next presentation is going to be not next week, but the week after. Yes.
If you are up to it, yes.
Yeah. We'll go on every 2 weeks now. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for the presentation, Betty. Appreciate it. We're gonna roll on out here now, folks. Be ready this Saturday. BALLBUSTERS. It's gonna be open panel. We'll see what's going on there, and definitely next Tuesday. Don't have an idea yet. I think I ran into something. A couple things. One thing that I ran into by accident that I was gonna do. I was gonna review it, and then I just forgot about it, and I put it back in my notes, and I I just recently ran into it. I have yet to go over it or go through the video, so I'll do that. I'll try to do that this weekend, and I'll see where we go with that. If it's worth it, then maybe some more buy me onesies evaluations. So more to follow on that, but we're gonna head out. I got 500 things to do and not enough minutes to do them. So thanks a lot, guys. Catch you on the flip side.